the show. Well, you're in for an exciting week here at The Good Stuff because it's mac and cheese week. All this week, we will be making crave-worthy versions of mac and cheese. And today, I'm kicking things off with my classic Stovetop mac and cheese. It is super simple to throw together, and sometimes all you want is something that you cook on the stove, plop into a bowl, and then sit on the couch and eat. Am I right? I mean, that sounds like my cup of tea. All right, so the first thing you want to do is cook off about 225 grams of any sort of short noodle. Classic is obviously elbow macaroni. If you wanted to look a little bit more like those boxes of mac that we all love so much, go for a straight macaroni and you'll be good to go. So that's all cooked off in boiling salted water. So now that mac is done, we got to get to work on the cheese. So for the cheese, it sounds fancy, but basically we are making like 3 French things that kind of build into each other. It makes you feel like you're like a chef who went to the cordon bleu. You're so fancy because we're gonna start with a roux, then turn that roux into a bechamel, and then that bechamel gets turned into a mornay, which is just a fancy word for cheese sauce. So in this, I know, who doesn't love cheese sauce? 2 of the best words together. Best thing in the world. So in this pot, just over medium heat, I've got 3 tablespoons of butter. I use unsalted butter because that's what I usually have on hand, but if you only have salted, that's totally fine. You'll just add a little bit of less salt later. So that is nice and melted and starting to come up to a bubble. And this is where we turn that butter into a roux. So into that 3 tablespoons of butter, I'm gonna add in 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. So just scatter that right on over top. And a roux essentially is any sort of fat and flour mixed together and then cooked a little bit. What that is for is to kind of thicken up any sort of liquid. So this is something you can do if you're making gravy. You can use like a little bit of beef fat and flour to make a delicious beef gravy with your roast beef, or you can just go with butter. So I'm gonna give that a whisk together. And it comes into kind of sort of like a nice smooth paste, you know? It already starts to turn kind of blonde, but basically we wanna toast that flour because what's better than bread? Toast. Golden brown flavor, what a delight. So that's toasting up, but I also wanna add in more flavors into there just to start building a base. So the first thing I'm gonna add in is a teaspoon of, or a half a teaspoon rather, of onion powder. Onion powder gives you the flavor of like a roasted caramelized onion without having to do anything other than open a jar, which is a total dream. Just a little bit gives you a little hint of onion flavor without too much. Now into there, I'm also gonna add in some dry mustard powder. This is a secret ingredient anytime I'm making a mac and cheese. So I want about a teaspoon of that. Now, if you don't have dry mustard powder, I'm just gonna do this. Yeah. If you don't have dry mustard powder, you can also just use a little bit of Dijon mustard. What that does is it kind of cuts through the richness of this cheese sauce and makes it so you can eat more mac and cheese, you know? Anything that like just cuts through the richness, that's a good thing in my books. All right, so that's toasted for about 30 seconds. And as you can see, we've got a nice kind of blonde color. Like the color of hair that I always wished I had in high school is what you're going for. Now give that a whisk. And now we're gonna turn this roux into a bechamel. So I've got 2 cups of milk here that I've just warmed over low heat. You could also warm it in the microwave, but if you want to, you can also just do cold milk. This might get a little bit lumpy if you do cold milk. To be honest, it might get lumpy with warm, but that just helps ensure that it comes together nicely. So just start adding in that milk. And guess what? Sometimes lumps happen. That's just life. And if they do, it's still gonna taste delicious. It's all gonna come together beautifully. But just slowly kind of while whisking, add that milk on in. And essentially what's gonna happen is that roux, that flour and butter mixture, is gonna kind of absorb some of that milk and thicken everything up. So once that comes up to a simmer, I let that go for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then you end up with this little number, which is a delicious bechamel sauce. So this is the base of so many different French sauces. You could add a little bit of nutmeg in here for a classic bechamel. You could put some blue cheese in here, put that on a steak. Get out of here. But we're in mac and cheese week, not steak and cheese week. So I'm gonna add in some cheddar. So I've got 2 cups of grated cheddar here. You can use any sort of grated cheese you want. You could even go orange cheddar. But to me, if I use orange cheddar, I want it to be that like neon orange color like the box stuff, and it's never gonna be. So I just go with white. So add that on in. Yeah, right? Who doesn't like a little bit of melted cheese? And this is where that bechamel becomes a Mornay, which again is just a cheese sauce. So I'm gonna season that up with a little bit of salt. Personal opinion, I do not like pepper in my mac and cheese. I don't like seeing it. I don't know why. And I'm not gonna go out and buy white pepper, even though that is very French and fancy. All right, that looks beautiful. Just gonna tap that off. And now we get to bring that mac and cheese together. So I've got those noodles that, again, I cooked off, and I'm gonna add those right on into that pot. Spilling them everywhere, classic. And then give that a good stir. I mean, in pretty much the same amount of time it takes to make a box of mac and cheese, you have got the creamiest, stringiest, most delicious mac and cheese this side of the Mississippi, and I'm very excited about it. So I'm gonna serve this baby up just in a bowl. Again, this is classic me. I like to pretend I eat at a dinner table, but let's be honest, most of the time I eat on the couch with a good old-fashioned lap pillow. And I'm a spoon lady. Now, if you want to, you can put any sort of topping on here. Hot sauce is great, but I'm gonna go classic old school Mary and do a happy face. There you go, a little bit of ketchup. Okay, let's give this a go. That cheese is melted, that sauce is rich and creamy. Oh yeah, oh, that's a classic for a reason. We are kicking off Mac and Cheese Week with my classic stovetop version. But if you want to switch things up a little bit, you can truly add in whatever you'd like and then pop it in the oven to bake. Some of my family faves are a little bit of Gruyere and ham for kind of sort of like a croque monsieur vibe, mozzarella and parm with sun-dried tomatoes and a bit of pesto, because we all know how much I love pesto. But we polled our staff, and the winner for today's switch up is white cheddar and bacon. Obviously. I feel like if you ask any group of people what type of mac and cheese, as soon as you say bacon, they're like, well, duh. Why would I make another decision? All right, so we have got that beautiful bechamel again from before. Super simple. Again, it's just flour, butter, a little bit of seasoning, and some milk. So we're gonna turn that again into a Mornay. This is where you can add those different cheeses. If you were doing mozzarella for a nice stringy cheese, amazing. Gruyere, perfect. But we're going in again with good old-fashioned cheddar, which is a total dream. And if you wanted to grow this up a little bit of parm in there. True, real parm though. You gotta get that for that nice stretchiness. And then into there, we obviously have to add that bacon. So I've got some crispy cooked up, chopped up bacon that I'm just gonna toss into there. If you wanted to here, you could add in herbs as well, a little bit of chive or some green onions, total dream. Now I'm gonna season that with a bit of salt, and then I'm gonna ask y'all, should we do pepper? Ooh, that's a split decision. Wait, let me hear it. Who wants salt, who wants pepper? Pepper? Oh. Okay, you know what? Just to be fair, I'm gonna do pepper. Just in case there's people at home who also like pepper. We have a couple. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean you don't have to like it. I'm not your mom, I'm just your friend Mary. We're just making dinner together, it's gonna be easy. All right, give that a whisk up and like look at that cheesy, stringy, bacony sauce. Beautiful. Now I've got those noodles again that I'm just gonna add on into that sauce and give that a good stir up. Like with that bacon in there, oh my gosh, look at those cheese strings happening. All right, now if you wanted to, you could totally serve this as is, again, straight out of the pot, but we're gonna bake this baby. So I've got a little dish here that I've greased with a bit of butter, because what's wrong with a little bit more butter when you're having this much cheese? And I'm just gonna transfer, oh my gosh, all of that on into there. Leave no sauce behind. Spread that out. And if you wanted to, you could totally just pop that in the oven now and cook that off. That would be beautiful. Put a little bit of breadcrumb on top. But when I'm making mac and cheese, I also kind of want garlic bread. So I'm gonna put garlic bread on top, because that's what we do here. So I've got a little bit of butter in this bowl, and I'm just gonna rasp in a clove or two of garlic. Garlic is really big lately, so I'm just gonna go with one clove, but you do you. So again, just rasp that right on into that butter. That's gonna give you like punchy, delicious garlic flavor. Tap, tap. And then for classic garlic bread flavor, I'm gonna add in about a 1/4 teaspoon of some dry Italian seasoning. You could add in some fresh parsley if you wanted to, whatever you're thinking. Give that a little bit of a mix up. This is where it gets tricky because garlic's wet and butter is oil, so it's hard to mix. Perfect. Okay, Now I've got 2 thick slices of bread here that I'm just gonna spread with that garlic butter, just divide that over top. And if you wanted to, you could swap out the garlic butter for anything. You could even just do, if you were doing sun-dried tomato, use a little bit of that sun-dried tomato oil. That would be delish. Pop that on top. And I'm just gonna cut this bread into little cubes. You could also tear it up, whatever works for you. And if I wanted to, I could just chuck this bread right on top of there. I don't think anyone would complain. But what I like to do is give this a little bit of like sticking power. So as opposed to just tossing this bread on, I'm gonna make a little mixture that's gonna kind of like moisten up the bread a little bit. That's gonna hold everything together. Okay, give that a slice, and we're good to go. And this is like my secret hack. Every time I'm making a mac and cheese and I'm doing a topping, other than my mom's mac and cheese, I do this. Grab an egg, crack it into your bowl. Again, that garlic butter bowl is perfect. Pop in a little bit of milk, maybe about a 1/4 cup, couple tablespoons, something like that. Give that a whisk up. And then into there, add that bread. This is gonna give you kind of also a little bit of like a savory French toast stuffing vibe. Again, mainly my recipes are made because I have an inability to make decisions on what I want to eat at dinner time. So I just mush a bunch of things together and then it tastes pretty good, not gonna lie. All right, give that a toss. And then I'm gonna add in, obviously, a bit more cheese, just about 1/2 cup of more grated cheddar. I know, not too shabs. Then pop this on top. And then this little number needs to go into my 425-degree oven for about 20 minutes, just until it is golden brown and bubbly. Oh my gosh, I just got a sneak peek in there and it looks beautiful. Oh my goodness. The little garlic bread top with that bacon, it smells so good. Like, pretty good, am I right? Now, to taste this delicious mac and cheese, we have one of our producers and the president of our mac and cheese committee. Please welcome Vernon. Hey, Vernon.
Hi, how are you?
Oh my gosh, you have your official hat on and everything.
My presidential hat.
Your presidential hat, how's it going?
Good.
You're a real mac and cheese fan, aren't you?
I am.
Okay, do you see that cheese string?
Yes.
Like, are you pumped about this?
I am very pumped.
I'm so excited. All right, you want to give that a go?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm scared because he's eaten a lot of mac and cheese in his life.
That's pretty good.
It's stringy. We gave it a string.
Yeah.
Pretty good?
Yep.
Nice. All right, well, each day this week, we will have a different take on mac and cheese, so be sure to tune in. Vernon, is that good?
I'm enjoying that.
It's a lot of stringy cheese. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.